Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a deputy jailer at the Kentucky River Regional Jail found himself behind bars on drug smuggling charges. And a West Virginia bar is being forced to close after 7 people were shot there on New Year's Day. Plus, Floyd County hopes to ease the problem of jail overcrowding while also providing hundreds of state jobs to workers in the region.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 5:30 on Friday, January the 3rd. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning. Madison is off today, so you just get Brandon and I, so stay tuned. It's okay. You don't have to leave. But if you don't like rain, go ahead and leave now, because that's what's in the forecast for the next handful of days, and that's what's prompted our severe weather alert day. So let's bring Brandon in this morning to get a breakdown of timing and what to expect. Brandon?
Timing is all day, basically. So just if you leave your rain gear at home this morning, you didn't look outside before you go. You didn't turn on the TV. You didn't have your app handy there. But you're going to regret it if you don't take the rain gear today, because as you see on the satellite and radar, it's been raining all night. It will continue to rain most of the day. I think we'll get a little bit of a break in the action at times later today, but this morning, certainly not there. We're seeing heavy bands of rain going through parts of southeast Kentucky, southwest Virginia, all the way up toward I-64. So again, just be aware of that. We're watching the area, basically the Cumberland Valley for the most part, but Hal Rogers, Highway 80 corridor south, that's the areas that could see the most rain over the next couple of days. Visibility is pretty rough this morning there, anywhere less than 5 miles, which is several spots or close to several spots there is limited visibility. Some of it could be heavy rain, some of it could be fog, so keep that in mind. Temperatures in the upper 40s there, mid to upper 40s in Lake Cumberland, I-75, Cumberland Valley. Then we get up into the 50s there, low 50s across parts of the Kentucky River and the Big Sandy. Day planner for today, we are going to see temperatures climb into the upper 50s, mid to upper 50s by this afternoon, even with the rain chances, because we've got that warm air surging off of that warm front from the south. But a cold front is going to interact with that pretty soon and drop our temperatures way, way down. We'll talk more about that coming up here in a little bit. Will?
Alrighty, Brandon, thank you. Well, state lawmakers will have hundreds of bills to consider when they come back to Frankfort next week. But the budget is always the big ticket item and usually the most divisive. WIMT's Phil Pendleton has a preview of some of the issues legislators will be tackling over the next 3.5 months.
These chambers and hallways are quiet now, but is this the calm before the crazy?
This is going to be something different for everyone. No one knows exactly what to expect.
For the first time in modern history, there's a Republican majority in both the House and the Senate, along with a Democratic governor. Can they find common ground?
Traditionally, when
Representative Hatton believes they can, saying the hot-button issues are in the minority this year.
Economic development, access to jobs, keeping taxes low, and health care and education issues. I mean, every Kentuckian wants the same thing in that regard. So
hundreds of bills have been pre-filed. Some of those include potential laws dealing with sports wagering, taxes or restrictions on vaping, changes to charter school laws, and possibly this year, medicinal marijuana.
Well, medicinal marijuana, I think there's certainly an appetite for that this session. I don't think we're quite ready to talk about recreational marijuana in Kentucky, but
the budget talks will be the big one. Governor Beshear will likely present his proposal in late January, and he's promised teacher raises will be included.
I think that if that's the governor's priority, that he will do what is necessary to make sure that that remains the priority for the legislature.
Lawmakers will gavel in at noon on Tuesday, and by law they must adjourn following a veto session at midnight, April 15th. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, we tried to get statements from the House Speaker and Senate President, both Republicans, but neither responded to our requests. A deputy jailer at the Kentucky River Regional Jail found himself behind bars after being arrested for what police believe was smuggling drugs into the jail. Shannon Adams worked for the jail for nearly 2 months. On Wednesday, he was arrested during a traffic stop with a cigarette pack full of Suboxone. Lonnie Brewer, the jail administrator, says this is disheartening.
We do everything in our power to keep drugs out of our facility. We've put a fence on the exterior of our building. We've added a body scanner. We strip search every inmate coming in, off our work details, making sure they're not bringing it in.
Adams faces a charge of trafficking in the second degree. A Pulaski County woman is accused of driving under the influence with her grandson in the car. Deputies arrested Lily Hines on New Year's Day. They say she told them she had been drinking and took pills. She also admitted to driving to the ER with her grandson to see family. Deputies say Hines failed a field sobriety test. She is charged with DUI and endangering the welfare of a minor, among other charges. It was a scary situation for one mother in Magoffin County on New Year's Day after the sheriff's office said her daughter threatened to stab her. It happened at a house in Salyersville. Deputies say the mother of Whitney McCoy told them when she came home, McCoy tried to fight her and tried to push her off the porch. Then deputies say McCoy went and got a knife. When deputies tried to arrest McCoy, she pulled away from deputies and swung her arms. She was taken to the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center and faces several charges. A Laurel County man is behind bars after police say he strangled a woman. Deputies say this man, Jason Thomas, was arrested at Findlay Trailer Park Road Thursday morning. Investigators say Thomas hit a victim several times and choked them until they lost consciousness. Thomas is charged with 4th-degree assault, 1st-degree strangulation, and drug possession. A West Virginia bar is being forced to close after 7 people were shot there on New Year's Day. The city of Huntington is closing the Culture Hookah Bar. 2 of the 7 people remain in critical condition this morning. The rest are considered stable. The mayor says this business originally applied as a retail business and was approved. It later applied to become a bar but did not follow procedures to be licensed. The mayor says this business has not paid any taxes, which helped the city's decision to close the bar. And now the city is not allowing any new bar to open within the city. Officials now have a suspect in connection to the shooting. Huntington police say they are looking for 30-year-old Kimonesi Deshaun Davis from Detroit. He is charged with 7 counts of wanton endangerment, along with 1 count of malicious wounding. Davis also already had active warrants for burglary and domestic battery. Court officials tell WYMT a guilty plea has been entered in a Martin County triple murder case. Lance Ward was accused in the deaths of Derek James, Amber Lockhart, and Micah Sammons back in 2018. Ward originally pleaded not guilty in June of 2018. In 2019, prosecutors filed paperwork to seek the death penalty in the case. Ward was scheduled to go before a grand jury in March of 2020. The robbery charges were dismissed. The Kentucky Department of Corrections reported its inmate population in 2018, showing an overpopulation in jails and prisons across the Commonwealth. Floyd County hopes to ease that problem while also providing hundreds of state jobs to workers in the region. WYMT's Buddy Forbes spoke to the county's judge executive about the progress of the Southeast Kentucky Correctional Facility.
More than 24,000 inmates in jails and prisons across Kentucky.
I certainly believe there's a need for the prison to be reopened.
That overcrowding led to an announcement in October that the former Otter Creek Correctional Facility in Wheelwright would reopen its doors as a state prison.
We've got a facility there in Wheelwright sitting empty that could eliminate or alleviate a lot of the pressure that's currently on the system, and the facility's ready to go.
Judge Executive Robbie Williams says there has been a little concern since former Governor Matt Bevin signed an executive order to lease the property during his last day in office.
There may be an issue because it didn't go through a legislative committee process. That's the only thing that's concerning to me.
But he says he remains confident and hopes that now Governor Andy Beshear will help the Southeast Kentucky Correctional Facility move forward.
Governor Beshear has always been a friend of Floyd County, and I certainly think the governor and our local legislators are going to stand up and make this happen.
Because it is something he believes the region needs.
You know, if you create 200 jobs in this part of the country, you're on front page, it's big news.
And the county deserves. In Floyd County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Williams says he has been in contact with people in Frankfort this week and has every reason to believe the prison will reopen as details are worked out. Attorney General Daniel Cameron is asking the Federal Bureau of Investigation to investigate former Governor Bevin's pardons. The investigation is focused on the pardon of Patrick Baker, who was convicted of reckless homicide. He was described as the triggerman in the death of Donald Mills. Baker's family raised more than $20,000 for the Bevin campaign.
And we hope and pray that, he gets more time than what he got during the actual trial in the state case. And now that it's federal, that there could be a lot more changes.
We do not know when the investigations will start. Attorney General Daniel Cameron has said his office is willing to assist in any way. Well, you can kick off the new year by saving a life today. The Kentucky Blood Center and WYMT are partnering to ensure there is an adequate blood supply for the new year. The Blood Mobile will be parked outside of our station from 3 until 6 this afternoon. Donors will receive a KBC hoodie. To schedule a donation, you can visit kybloodcenter.org. Walk-ins are also welcome. Tyler Childers brought out fans from across the region to fill the Appalachian Wireless Arena, but the real story came when the shows were over.
The forecast is soggy today, and for parts of today and tomorrow, it could turn a touch wintry by tomorrow night. I'll track the changing forecast in about 3 minutes.